Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Streaming Rainbow for a very special episode of a look back at my pagans from Inferno. These are the pagans that are from Cantos 1 through 5. And we're just going to sit here and have a chat about what it's been like to be a part of this wild project that honestly I'm still surprised is working. So yeah, we're just here to talk about our best non-gendered boy, the pagan, who didn't do anything wrong and is now stuck in hell with these absolute assholes. So we are going to start. I'm going to do a quick introduction as a reminder for everybody who has been following along. We were starting with my Canto 1 pagan, the one who started it all. Mikey is here. And then we've got our Canto 2 pagan who really got to start it having a really bad time, Lex. And then picking up, we're also having a really bad time, Zach. With Canto 3. Canto 4, we've got Andie, who made everybody fucking cry. Thanks, Andie. And my current pagan, Jien, who I'm currently tormenting and having a great time doing it. So, hello, everybody. To start off, we're going to just talk about what it was like to have this experience in Inferno. Mikey has the most boring thing to do, although he is the reason that the pagan is a character in this game. Because for my Canto 1, they didn't get any memories. They started at level 1, and that sucks. And they have full amnesia and have nothing that they can do. So I said, here's what you guys can do. You guys get to pick your characters. So Mikey, talk about what it was like to play the very first pagan in Inferno.
Honestly, when you came up to me with that proposition, it was, and it still is, an honor to be the first. Even though no memories aside, it's fantastic because you get to start off with the cleanest of slates and
Yeah.
really start to build off on that character. And the reason why I chose Druid was because I'd never played it before, to be honest, and I'm sorry to everyone else for that reason. Uh, but it it felt like an interesting choice to go through the nine hells with that connectivity to nature. And
Absolutely.
it just, how do I say this? I don't know, it felt like the right choice.
Fully. And this is so every different character I we're kind of asking a question of the through line for everybody. Like for the prophet, the question is what did everybody's oracle look like? Except for Julia, who as a level 1 warlock did not have a familiar. uh so we just asked what they would look like. So I want to hear from everybody on your turn. What did you picture? What did you tap into as the pagan? Because I know for a fact that you all have tapped into different things. So yeah, so Mikey, what was the pagan in your head? Like, what were you drawing on for that character?
Hmm. Honestly, I guess for my inspiration for the character was more so off my mother. Um, Not to get too deep or too rooted into it, but my mom comes from Cuba. She started off with nothing, and it it was just all the different talk of what she went through, the paths that she had to go on to get to where she ended up, just felt like, I don't know, felt like the right feeling for the character.
I love that. That's actually that makes me think of Andy's pagan. So that's like such a fun through line. Cool. So then baton handed over from Canto 1 to Canto 2. So Lex was the first one to experience what it truly meant to be part of this project. So yeah, Lex, how was that picking up in Canto 2?
It it's such a different experience playing a character that someone else has played. And I'm sure the rest of us who followed had that same sort of feeling of being like, okay, so like what sticks this time around, and also like what was important to this character, and also what do I not give a shit about. But yeah, it was just really interesting watching watching like the first Kanto, watching how Mikey handled the pagan, and having to think about how I wanted to bring that into my version of the pagan. And so that's kind of why I wanted to continue the accent, even though like fuck you for giving me that accent. It was awful. Awful. Um but I thought it was kind of a nice little through line from 1 to 2, even though the accent was not stable at all. Um I just really found it very fun. It was like it was like playing a pre-written character that both had a lot to work with, but also so much emptiness to play with.
Absolutely. Yeah, and what with that in mind, like picking up after Mikey, what was your thought about the pagan you wanted to embody? Like what was your like touchstone?
I so I'm a big whenever I play a character, I might think about kind of their highlights or what big things I care about with that character. But it isn't until I'm really sitting in them that I actually understand how this character is navigating through me. And I think for me, when I started playing the character and seeing how I was interacting with Blackwell as the serpent, I felt like a teenager that was lost, that was trying to find their way. And I say teenager because then I brought in the absolute angst and frustration and ire that comes from feeling like, well, you've just been wronged. You didn't do anything, and yet you're here. You're damned for nothing. How is that my fault? Fuck you. And so it felt almost immature as I was playing the character. And I played a lot of druid characters, and I like playing a druid that isn't the traditional like sitting in the woods sage style character. I like playing it more as like they are learning about the world and evolving as they flourish in it. And this character just felt very immature. You know, they literally had no memories. They just knew the bare bones of who they were. And that was terrifying and infuriating.
Yeah.
So I went with that was my through line was they're a child, they're a teenager learning how to deal with their current situation.
Yeah. And then, so both you and Zach had to deal with this, but you guys, you were in the first level of hell, which was that was it for you, which whenever, for a reminder for our audience, whenever a player is in their level of hell, they roll at a disadvantage and it sucks. And you both did an amazing job at embodying that, like in a really like in an RP way. So, how did that affect your gameplay? Or did you think about it?
I mean, I think a lot of people get annoyed when they roll poorly and they fail checks. And so I just kind of let that frustration bleed into the character a little bit in terms of being like, I feel like I should be able to do this. I feel like this is something I should be good at, but
Yeah.
why can't I get it done? And really, again, leaning into that sense of I don't belong here. Where do I belong? Yet this is the place I've been told I am supposed to be. This sucks.
Yeah. Amazing. And then yeah, passing over to Zach. Zach, you picked up the mantle in the first level of hell. So what was your experience? And please talk about your through line because your touchstone is a beautiful one. I loved it so much.
Oh, absolutely. I broke the pattern as soon as I started off
The
because
accent was gone.
before I watched either of you guys, Eli and I were talking about the casting process and whatnot and which role to play, and they pitched me on the Dante's Inferno element and the pagan, and I knew that I had to tie my heritage into it just from jump because that was one of the things about Dante's Inferno and the concept of hell, in particular Catholic hell, that always stuck with me through my life was that first level that was for the quote unquote righteous non-believers, the pagans, the people who didn't necessarily commit sin because it was sort of check mark not applicable on the application to hell. Uh, they were not, they never accepted the Christian faith, therefore they couldn't be held responsible for it, but they didn't get a pass, so dumped in, here you go. That's something that I have been aware of my entire life. And so, yeah, when presented with with what roles to pick, I jumped at it because I really wanted to embody that. I really wanted to embody, as Lex said, I know I don't belong here, but I wanted to take that from my personal standpoint of I don't belong here, so much so that I don't even believe in this place. This place has zero bearing on my religion. It has zero bearing on my culture, my heritage, any of it. And yet you have put me here. And that was really, really a lot of fun to explore. Mikey and Lex did the heavy lifting with the first level. I was in it for maybe like 2 episodes before I got the cathartic release of moving out of there, which was also a lot of fun to play that lifting of the weight and having like Rosie and Mia and Heather like to bounce off of across that transition was absolutely wonderful. And you, of course, embodying this like fifth character along the way that we did not expect to have, and then suddenly we had. So you're like doing double roles as this
Your
character, the exile, and everybody else.
your reaction to the exile is something that makes me laugh every single time I think about it because for the pagans who haven't gotten to see it or which is fine, we're all busy. Zach was like, "Listen, I can't adopt another stray cat, so I can't look at you or know anything about you." that's that's what the exile was for the pagan to start off with.
Everybody was
Like
like, "Yes, yes, you can come with us," and I was just like, "Why?"
we don't
No, I
have
kind of
enough
love that.
room.
I even love that based off of like just all of it. I love that. That's adorable in
Like,
a hilarious way.
look,
If I
look
get to
at him.
know
He
you,
has
I have to
mange. Why
care
do you
about
want him?
It's
yeah.
oh my god, that's great. It's just
But
like
no,
that.
it
Don't
was,
You
look at me.
fuckers
Don't
won't
look at
take
me.
care
Don't
of
look
him.
at me.
I won't take care of him.
Damn it.
It's
but
like
no, it
telling a
was
kid, like, we'll get a dog if
wonderful.
you take care of it, and the kids don't take care of the dog.
Exactly. But no, it was a lot of fun to do that, and really, I am really grateful for the opportunity to reform and like reformat the pagan into an individual identity, like getting to incorporate like from the look, like the tefillin and the talit, all the way to like the kadlefer, which is a like Jewish cremation urn. I saw the urn for the pagan. I went, oh, I absolutely must incorporate this into myself, all the way down to changing the verbal component of spells to Yiddish and Hebrew. In a time frame where my heritage is being co-opted for nefarious purposes, it was very nice to be able to hold on to and claim what I am external of that. Uh, Now more than ever. So I was very grateful to be able to stand in my identity and really just address like the core history, the core culture point, and not everything else that's going on. So I was very grateful to be able to dive into like fantasize in that regard and address the generational trauma that comes with with that external application of my people.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it was beautiful. Again, yeah, you all did really cool things with your RP through battle. Like Lex was very visual, especially Lex really took on the shapeshift, the wild shapes. That was fun. Mikey did the I made the joke, Mikey died. Mikey went too close to the sun. Mikey said, I want to befriend a wild panther, and then the panther killed him. So listen, all things, and then we'll talk about Andie's gorgeous. But yeah, you all have embodied this character with so beautifully. So taking this beautiful identity, in moves Andie. So Andie, talk about what you did, which was so good.
Okay. So when I was first poked to sort of play the pagan, uh, uh, now that it's already happened, I'm very comfortable to say that my first reaction was like abject fear. I was like, I'm being handed this thing that three people lovingly worked on, and I can't fuck it up. Like that was my first genuine reaction to like having to pick up one of the characters. But when I did finally get a chance to like sit down and think, okay, what do I have? What am I working with? What am I putting into it? Um, I, I, I really like focused in on like two things with it, which is it is sort of like the big sorry, the rage that came from like thinking that I don't belong here. I didn't do anything to deserve this. Uh, and the second one was that kind of disconnect of being someone that isn't part of this faith, that is forced to kind of exist in that kind of sphere and faith, and also how pissed that makes me. So like my through line for it, what did come from like a lot of my personal experiences in culture, to I'm a first generation immigrant. I got here 2 years ago. But so there is a lot of that feeling of like kind of fish out of the water, but I think the bigger feeling with it that I like kind of dug my heels into is, I don't know, when I was in like the Philippines, which is like predominantly Catholic, there is this very strange feeling of disconnect between a lot of like personal traditional cultures versus that of like the church. Because like the example that I gave Eli when we were first talking about it was, there would be times when I was like younger where it would be like, okay, it's Sunday, we're gonna go to church, we're gonna go to mass, and as soon as it's over, we're gonna go into the woods. There's an old man there. He has a little basin of water. We're gonna drip some hot wax into it, and it's going to tell the future. It's like, okay, like, that created a lot of like dissonance in my brain growing up, because like a lot of like institutions like schools, the church, they'll hammer in the sort of like Catholic faith angle of it. But despite the fact that a lot of like culture from the Philippines were destroyed some 500 years ago now, uh, it 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 feels like the little bits of it are like clawing their way out of the grave and just trying to like hang on to something. And like sometimes like when I think about that, it does kind of make me upset. And I think sorry, I'm like losing
Have
the
you also
threads in my
blacked
brain a
out
bit here.
every single episode of Inferno like I have? It's all surprising to me.
Yeah. Genuinely, I do black out. I just remember anytime I get to like play the pagan, I don't know what's happening. I like flip a switch in my brain and I get to just be like so mad.
Oh,
I burnt a church down and then like showed the saint
yeah.
what it looks like to be on our side of the genocide.
Let me just put the caption here. No, it's yeah. Andie used his amphora to call forth two female warriors that ended up to be his mother and aunt, and made a prayer to apologize to his ancestors that he couldn't remember them to grieve properly, weeping in the side of a cave. Like, I'm just like, here we are. Meanwhile, the rest of the chuckle fucks are getting 2 nat 1s on a performance roll to dance to Orpheus's lyre. Meanwhile, and then here's Andie being
Some things never
impossibly
change.
beautiful. Wild. It was, yeah, you did like, and just so much so that it hasn't come up with Jien's character yet, with Jien's pagan, but like I was having Andie roll to see if he was going to put the pagan in proper hell. Like, to was like, I am so mad that I'm going to join the Wrath Ring. Like, because yeah, Andie and I was like, Andie, you're fine. It's fine to do this. This is valid. But yeah, what you cast, like, was it Phantasmal Forest or something? Like,
Like no, I
on the
guess it's like
Saint,
illusory terrain to like
illusory
turn the cave
terrain,
yeah.
and made in this cave and made the entire thing into a burning cathedral.
Yeah.
And then the Saint said, "What did I do
But why?
wrong?
Why are you so mad?
Why? Can you tell me why? I'm sorry you feel that way, pagan." Like, Anna Eliza fully did
We
the
had
best.
this conversation an entire Canto ago.
Yeah, fully. We're gonna have it again. Yeah, yeah. And then moving on from this beautiful, and there's a lot of tension because again, it really came to light at the end of Zach's Canto. It came out, that memory of like, oh yeah, I can't remember who found it out first, but the fact that the Saint and the pagan are
The Saint
connected.
did.
Was it, yeah, the Saint, it came out in that it came out that the Saint and the pagan are connected by trauma, by like having their village razed, and the Saint being like, but I spared you, like that's a good thing, and then the pagan being like, you killed my family, fuck you.
Saint can eat my entire ass.
I find it so fascinating because when I found this out and had the conversation with the Saint, I was fresh off of the release from the tension of the first circle. So I had like a stern but calm conversation. And then the transition from lust into wrath changed the dynamic entirely, and I love that.
Yeah,
so much.
It's like you didn't have it, like, yeah, your pagan didn't have didn't have the opportunity to process, whereas so then it got to Andie, and Andie's like, I'm stuck in the mud chasing a dog, so I got plenty of time to process.
And so much time to process, and it ended with, we're gonna get out of here, and then the two of us are gonna murder each other.
It's weird because then we also have the serpent and the prophet in the same boat.
Yeah, in the exact same boat. It's great.
It's lovely.
It's nice.
So then, straight out of the pit into the chasm, our current pagan, Jien, how have you been liking it? We're halfway through as we are filming this, so.
My good friend, listen. When you were like, hey, this character hates the Saint's guts, by the way, the Saint is Grant, I was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. A lot of the inspiration I drew from was the resentment between the pagan and the Saint, and kind of like the developing frenemyness, frenemyship? I don't know. What's the noun? Help me out. But I've had a great time, honestly. I didn't know what was happening coming in. So I walked up and I was like, what up? I don't know who I am. I don't know who you are. But let's roll some dice. And I've had such a good time riffing off of situationship.
That's Zach. Yeah,
That's
situationship is
You
hard
hit it out
to
of the
say, but
park.
also perfect.
I'm so mad about it. Oh my god, that was
A
incredible.
moment of silence for
Uh,
situation.
I didn't want to interrupt, but I didn't want
No,
to interrupt. I used the
please
chat.
interrupt. That was fucking incredible.
Yeah, how dare you
That was
leave that
incredible.
in the text chat?
Yes, situationship. Yes.
that was a special
amazing.
gift just for us, but now we have to share it with the world because we're good people. We're the pagans.
That was
We're good
It's
people.
just that
incredible.
great. It's just that
Incredible.
great.
But yes, that is kind of like my big thing this Canto is really digging into the relationship between the pagan and the saint and trying to see where we can find common ground, and also being a little bit smug that even though I am supposedly this heretic and the saint is supposedly, saint-like, we're all in the same place. We're all in hell. This is the bad place.
It's so good. There's been some really, again, as we're filming this, we're only halfway through, and there have been so many great conversations, and it does help that Jien and Grant are like siblings already. So it is some real sibling energy of like, I fucking hate you, but we're, it's like, but we gotta work together.
So
And
good.
Grant is being so good at being holier than thou, bringing that Mormon energy. It's so good.
This is what
I was
happens
gonna
when you
say,
put
that
two ex-lovers
boy-
in a room together.
Yeah.
That boy and his ex-Mormon ways is
Me too.
dangerous, and you too. Yes.
Yep. When you put two ex-Mormons in a room together, we get weird.
Yeah. And then we have Abby.
And oh my god, I fucking love Abby's making the most of her voice mods. I absolutely love
Oh gosh,
it.
you let her forget the voice mods.
For the snores. Whenever the snores comes out,
God.
the voice mods come out. Yeah.
The snores
Oh,
has
the
a voice.
snores.
I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed.
Also, I got to be. Oh fuck, was I the Minotaur or the Centaur? I summoned one and I was one. I don't remember which one was which.
You were a centaur
Um,
because you summoned a minotaur.
Okay, cool, yeah.
Yeah.
I had so much fun with that.
Yeah.
That is one of my few regrets. I never touched the wild shapes. I kind of didn't have to.
I wasn't going to, I wasn't going to go too deep into it, but also like there were what, 8? I think Grant rolled 2 4s, right? There were fucking 8 things coming at us, and I was like, all right, this is a
Devils,
job
yeah.
for Big Bo Horse Daddy. So I
Yeah.
I didn't get to be a centaur, but I did get to turn into a minotaur, throw somebody over my shoulder, and become somebody's dark fantasy book cover in the process. And that was a lot of fun.
Damn.
Snapshot
I only-
happens as you do.
Yeah.
I only got to anamorph into a fucking panther.
Don't say Animorph. I'm about to hijack this entire
Listen.
conversation.
I only got to get eaten by a panther, so
Yeah, you
Eaten
got
or
eaten
eaten
by a
out?
panther to become the panther.
Yeah,
it works out.
you were digested.
Look,
Then part
the
of
PTSD travels with you. The body, has the score.
And okay, so here's the thing as well. I remember good old Pagan Prime, OG Pagan, was talking about how I guess the idea of specifically choosing Druid and wanting to kind of move away a little bit from the sage in the woods thing. I think it's a really interesting choice, partly because as well, Druidic magic in, canon D&D, it's not divine, it's not profane, it's not it's a totally different type of magic than a lot of other magics in even the canon D&D setting, and I love how that actually slots in super well with it. Just while we're here.
Yeah. Yeah. I have said it. I think I've said it in every, because so everybody here knows, but I have conversations with people before I allow them into Inferno because I want to make sure we're all cool people. I think I have said in every interview for the Pagan that I hate druids. I'm not a fan of druid class. But that's only because everybody wants to be Keyleth. And it's like, I'm so bored. I'm so tired of the tree hugger. Like, oh my God, everything's sunshine and rainbows. It's like, no, nature is brutal. You're gonna die.
I'm gonna be so real with you right now. I'm currently playing a home game, and I am playing a druid. Straight up eco-terrorist.
See? That's
As you
great.
should.
Yeah.
Like, save the whales. You touch the whales, you die.
I played a druid. Like my first completed full game was a Waterdeep campaign, and I played a druid, and I had no idea what to do with a druid. I didn't realize that they used wisdom and not intelligence as their base, like their main score. And so it wasn't like a bad wisdom, but I was like, oh well, this character just reads a lot of books and like got into tune with nature because she lived in a small village. She became known by the party by accidentally killing her own pets.
Oops.
Not in like a sadistic way, but in a like, you know, go into battle, and then she would moonbeam an area forgetting that her dog was there. And then I would forget, or like all sorts of random shit. And then the fact that I wouldn't have as good of a spell save DC or as many spells in general because I didn't have as high of a wisdom as I was supposed to. I was just like, she's not the most worldly. Like, this idea of wisdom being like, well, you're worldly, you understand how nature is. And I'm like, but you also don't know how to read people, and that's wisdom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Perception
Heavily.
and like, yeah, and like being insight, wisdom. I'm sorry. No.
Like, the way that I like to say it is that intelligence is book smarts, wisdom is street smarts.
Yeah.
Basically.
And if you've got a kid that just a character that just grows up alone in the woods, what street smarts do they develop?
That's true. And I think, like, for that,
Wolf
I think there's something to be said for focusing harder on things like survival, medicine, as opposed to, like, insight, right?
Oh, absolutely. I just like loved that I played a character that didn't follow the silly trope
100%.
because it's just there's nothing. Sorry, I shouldn't say the silly trope because like it is a fun way to play a character, to like play it the stereotypical way to get to know the class, but there's something about breaking it apart bit by bit and going, but what if you just added a little bit of silly?
Yeah.
I had to just check, and this weirdly modified version of a druid is the first time I've actually played a druid, and I feel like that's going to inform any attempt that I have at playing a druid going forward, because I got the opportunity to play a druid completely divorced from that concept.
Yeah.
So now I can take things and make it a little less like tree huggy, a little bit more mud and rock language, and I'm looking forward to that.
Same
The
here.
fact, yeah.
No.
To be like pretty transparent, half the time in between the blacking out, you know, when I would wake up for like a split second, I forget that the pagan's a druid. Like completely, I completely forget that the pagan is a druid. I'm just
Honestly, these characters are so unique.
No,
Yeah.
it's true. I also frequently forget that the pagan is a druid. I'm just like, oh, it's the pagan. The pagan's
yeah,
the
it's
pagan.
a pagan, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't. Yeah. People will be like, we'll be talking about druids. I'll be like, you mean a pagan? No, not a pagan. No. No, the druids. The druid. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, the archetypes for this particular game are so unique unto themselves that calling them by their D&D classes is a
So
disservice to what
It's
they
weird.
actually
Yes.
can do and what
Yeah.
they are at this point.
They are the pagan. The druid is simply the vehicle to the mechanics. That's it.
It's barely a vehicle; it's a skeleton at
Yeah.
best.
Yeah, it's
It's
Like
a
there's so
scaffolding
much
that hangs things off of.
differentiation.
There's a little like fuzzy dice that's the druid.
yeah.
The druid is the fuzzy dice. Where can I get that on a t-shirt?
Put it. Hey, Mags. Put it on the merch. The druid is the
Oh my god,
fuzzy
Mags, I
type.
love Mags.
Right next to situationship. Now you got plenty to
Right
go with.
next to situationship.
Yes.
And God, every Canto has had its own very special vibe. We haven't figured it out yet for 5 yet. I don't know what 5 is yet. Well, the 5 is an inside joke in the background, which is skin babies. So that's
Skin babies!
that's
Skin children.
from Skin Children. That's from Love After Life. Abby said that, and I said, well, now it has to happen in Inferno. Thanks for the nightmare.
You're in
the
hell.
first
It's certainly
two.
good.
Yeah. I'm really curious. So you all have had very different interactions with your 3 other counterparts. And so for some of you, 4 other counterparts with the Exile. Although the Exile kind of gets forgotten, which is fine. I'm totally fine with that. He's just a little guy who likes animals.
I refuse.
Rude.
Our Canto refused. I think it's because we met him. Like we
Yeah,
refused
fully.
to forget
I
about
mean,
him.
like,
Look, I think it makes sense after dealing with Orpheus in our Canto, where Orpheus is just an incel that tries to hurt me, and I'm like, fuck you.
the
Fuck you.
Exile was also
Fuck
fucked
him.
over by him. Like,
Yep.
so for those
Steal
of you
his
who don't
liar,
know,
steal his wife.
yeah, steal his liar, steal his wife. Hey guys, guess what? Mission accomplished. Although, Eurydice, the Saint is now trying to like kind of date Eurydice. Thanks
Good,
to
somebody
Anna,
had to.
Eliza, and Grant. It's
Such an interesting experience.
it's real great, guys. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that was a thing that also made the pagan in my Canto really fucking pissed. Because, well, no, it's because we had this whole thing of like, I hate you so profoundly. You killed my entire family. Now I have to sit here and watch you awkwardly flirt with this woman who is not up for it.
Which is so great because at the end of mine, I was like starting to like plant a seed of the pagan flirting with Eurydice because like that was one I picked up over my shoulder as a minotaur and whatnot. So the notion of I started to flirt with Eurydice, I had this conflict with the Saint, roll over to you, and the Saint is cutting in on your girl. Perfect reason to be pissed.
It was so good. But I'm really curious for everybody, and whoever wants to go first can, like, what is the vibe check on, like, how did your pagan feel about your cohorts?
I think we should go in order again, right?
You want to go in order again? Do you want to go back to front or front first to last?
No, I feel
There's a
like
joke there somewhere. I don't know where, but it's there.
Oh, it's right there.
Let's go back to front.
Oh,
Yeah, Mikey's
okay.
like,
Hi, guys.
don't make me talk. I'm sick.
No,
yeah.
I kind of like the idea of like seeing how the progression went.
Yeah.
or like
Yeah,
Cersei
going
or
backwards would
the-
be interesting.
Yeah. So Jien, how's it going?
Oh my god. So how do I explain this? Biggest thing is the pagan and the saint have had some very interesting conversations. Perhaps more honest and open than maybe the pagan may have wanted. And we're at a point where the saint has actually straight up been like, okay, maybe we can meet in the middle somewhere. I'm trying to understand like your beliefs, how you work. Grant and I have some shit planned. You don't get to know that yet. But we are in a very uneasy truce right now. The pagans very much has a begrudging respect for this serpent, especially given everything that has happened. With essentially the serpent being our, let's be real, dog friend, except snake friend. Snake friend privilege. As far as the third one, help me out.
Prophet's tough.
Thank you, Prophet. I
Yeah.
was like, I always mix up the saint and the Prophet. The Prophet is I'm using left, a little bit tough. Has been a little bit reluctant to trust all of us. And the pagan has taken that as a bit of a challenge, so to speak, to kind of be like, hey, look, we don't have to trust each other. We don't have to like each other. We do have to work together. And that's been, I think, a really interesting bit of characterization, especially in juxtaposition with the pagan's "hey, fuck you" to the saint constantly. It's almost just like a little bit of hypocrisy there of we don't have to like each other, we have to, but like we do have to work together. And in the meantime, the pagan's just like at the saint.
Yeah.
But yeah, that pretty much summarizes the pagan's current experience in level 5.
Yeah, and I would say I would also add on just as I'm God, I get to watch everything, but like I don't have an ego at all, guys. I'm fine.
Uh-huh.
It's also the prophet has been shockingly doing some things that are very prophet like that have been very off-putting to the pagan. That's like enough like in fact like I'm totally, because this is really important, we like I think this is good for every table. After a session we actually like when we went, you all know that we have our cooldown. Before we did our stars and wishes, I had a thing of being like, okay, where's the line, like where are we good, like we had to check in with ourselves and each other, because it was going into a direction that could have really veered into not okay. So
and it was a really good discussion.
It was a super good discussion. So guys, have discussions at your table, even if you're afraid they're going to be awkward. Like it was such a good conversation, and I think it really helped steer the next session. So yeah, so it's been like that's an even added on to it of right now the prophet is gathering souls to their flock, whether they value them as people or as money, we don't know yet. Why not both?
Yeah.
So that's
yeah, let that be a lesson to you all. Use your safety tools and don't be afraid to like the discussion we had. Like, I guess you could call it a check-in, but like as far as I was concerned, it was just a conversation, which in itself is a safety tool. Just don't be afraid to talk to your cast members, and if you are afraid to talk to your cast members, maybe examine why you're at that table.
Yeah. And for my fellow GMs out there, I saw a look on Jen's face that made me go, I know what I'm doing at cooldown. So check in with your people. Know what's up, please. Okay. Andie, tell us about Canto 4 and your relationships where they're in.
The vibe switch is so different. That's crazy. But for like my pagan loves the serpent. The serpent, like for my pagan and for Danny's serpent, the two of us, the way that we played it is genuinely like I will burn in hell for you. For no one else in this fucking party, if it's for you, I will be there. Like there was a lot of like in my canto, the pagan and the serpent split their hope in half so that they had the same amount. Like it was up to that point, like almost like yeah, it can be like very sweet, but almost to the point of like a little
toxic?
a little bit of like mutually assured like self-destruction, because it was also, hey, if you fall, I will also fall with you. Like obviously the agreement is for both of us to sort of make it out of here, and like, you know, that whole talk of even when we're out of here, despite the fact that you have no tongue, I will always hear you. It was like it was a lot of that with like my pagan and the serpent. For the saint, honestly, the only way that I could describe it is that the pagan and the saint from my canto were very Shakespearean tragedy. Like, you killed my entire family when I was a child, and then it came to the realization of when you were 15. Right, when you were also a child.
Yeah,
like,
it was two. We did find out that it was two children, basically two children.
yeah. And then we like got to that point, and like it does, like it gets to like the vibe that we had was like, it doesn't matter that we were both kids then. It doesn't matter that, like, this was an order from people with more power than you. We have to kill each other. This is the only way this ends. You will die by my hand or I will die by yours. And that is the only way this resolves. I hate you so profoundly.
Which is so funny to hate Anna Eliza with that level of anything, because she is the best person ever.
It's so funny because we would do that in character, and then like in our fucking chat is just me and Anna going like it's just fucking it's great, it's fantastic.
So
for
good.
the prophet, the vibe that the Pay and the Prophet had was almost like mutually not being able to understand each other. Does that make sense? Because
Yeah.
for like the Pagan's case, like I am so emotionally attached one way or another to the serpent and the saint. I don't have that with you, which means you're the only person I can trust to kill me if something goes wrong.
Andie
Like there was
fully asked the prophet to be like, hey, if I start turning, murder me.
yeah, it
Do
was
it.
yeah, destroy me. It wasn't even like just kill me. It was no, destroy me. uh and unlike the prophet side, it was like the pagan is the only character where it was I can't play the game that I play with you. Because the pagan doesn't play the game. There is no like kind of like chess game, like a like subtext manipulation happening here. The pagan is almost painfully honest about their feelings and what they're thinking. And for the prophet, that doesn't compute. It's like they're looking for a puzzle to solve that isn't there, and mutual sides of disconnect on both sides, but almost in that way, the two of them kind of have like, okay, which means this is a person I can kind of trust with certain things, but not any of the touchy things, obviously.
So
Yeah,
good.
that was the situation that Canto 4.
I loved it. Yeah, Zach.
In or out of character. No, I loved everybody. Like again, like I talked about them when I was talking about like myself because I can't help but do it. Like Mia and Rosie and Heather were just an absolute joy to play with, and I love their characters. As for the characters, I'm going to start with you with the Exile because there's a reason why I took the Pagan with that approach to the Exile of the like I can't look at you in the eyes or I'm going to have to take care of you. It's because I was looking at these conflicting virtues and vices, and I have my character sheet up so I can read it again. The virtue of trying to help the needy and even the damned whenever possible, and the vice of does not confront injustice, does not help companions or those in need. And I was in, and because I was in the first level, or I guess like the 0th level, like the first level when we found him, my thought was like, I am suffering right now. If I look at you, then I have to help you because it's so ingrained in me, and I don't have the capacity to do that right now. It will be destructive to myself if I start caring about you, so I can't do that. And then resolving that, or not really resolving, like sort of resolving that as I had that weight lifted, got to turn into something a bit more playful. And it's because we never like hard bonded at the beginning, so it had to develop over time as I realized like, okay, no, you're okay to have around.
Yeah.
But I started with a brick wall with the Exile, and so I had to climb it, and that was the fun part. Similarly to Canto 4, like with the Prophet, like Rosie and I, character-wise, like didn't have like a hard grounding, I feel, the way that the others did. And I find it interesting that sort of carried through a little bit. We coexisted alongside one another the entire time and played off of the other characters in dynamically different ways. And I found that part interesting, that we were reflectant of one another on opposite side of the other characters. But I think that like the pagan's opinion of the prophet during the course of that was wholly neutral, because like the prophet cared enough about the pagan's mental state in the first level and the catharsis of release going into the second level, but that was about it. And honestly, I think that's perfectly fine. Like, not everybody has to. We only like just started on this trip through hell, so not everybody's going to have this tight interweaving connection. And I love that it carried over a little bit into Canto 4 and is maybe adjusting and blending as we go forward from there. The serpent, I felt like either the older brother or like the reluctant parent of this ADHD child. As the serpent, there was multiple scenes where the serpent would run to do something and the pagan would go, "Oh no."
I think that's returned in
no.
Canto 5. I think that has Abby is for sure being the serpent, like the puppy energy.
That's just
sure.
Abby.
That's just Abby.
That's just
yeah.
Abby. But no, yeah, Heather played up that like that temptation element of the serpent very well, and but the temptation was turned onto themselves, where like they cannot help but be tempted by every opportunity that they have. And I liked having that dynamic opportunity. I had a little bit of that with everybody. I tend to play like anchor point characters in parties. I'm not the one that runs off and does something batshit insane. I tend to be like the middle ground character to just stabilize things, because I play with so many dynamic people that will do the big things. So I got to be that to the serpent in particular, and that was a lot of fun. And then Mia with the Saint, yeah, like early on, it was kind of like the prophet, because across the board the pagan was coming down or coming up from the weight and riding this high of not having to deal with that shit anymore. So everybody was sort of on the same level, and then what we went through is what adjusted it. Because we were just discovering stuff between the Saint and the pagan, we didn't have that like intensive hatred. Like Eli said, I didn't have time to process it in character. But we did get to have this moment of like, okay, well, now we know this about each other, so now what? Like, we need to talk about this in some capacity before we advance forward. And I got to have that holier than thou moment of like, where the Saint's like, if you need to fight me or kill me over it, and I went, no, no, because that whole like golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, that's actually from my tradition, not yours. So I'm going to exemplify that here. And I'm not going to fight you over this, because I didn't want people to die. So I liked being able to play holier than thou to somebody who is literally named the Saint. And Mia played such a strong character to give and receive on that one. I like just getting to drop bombs on everybody throughout the course of the season, though, with not doing like the wild and outrageous stuff. I got to be that like quote unquote sagely character to people, but not in a way where they were actually like looking to me for advice. Just that I kept giving it. Whether or not it was taken was a different story entirely. But I think I felt like, well, as the one person that doesn't belong here, I feel qualified to give my opinion. And everybody played off of it, or didn't on purpose, so very well. Just absolute delight.
Yeah. It was, yeah. Pagan dropping bombs is like a fault. Like, that's a through line for sure. It's so good. And yeah, I did love how Canto 3, that serpent, the pagan was like, we're gonna have to talk, and then Canto 4 proceeded to not have the conversation. Like, Andie and Anna kept not talking. It was great. It was so good.
No, we communicated in other ways.
Through passive aggressive or just plain aggressive actions. Yeah.
I was gonna say, did y'all fuck her?
No.
We don't have corporeal bodies. We can't make that happen.
We were on a level that was entirely for that. Why not?
You can listen with enough determination. You can do anything,
Can I put my
including
hand in
each
your
other.
aura? if you know what I mean.
She asked nicely.
So then moving backwards, Lex had a great time. It's hard to talk about the Saint though because half the time Teo was frozen. So yeah, what
Yeah.
about your creation?
I think we're all gonna say that we had the best tables. I think every single one of us is gonna go, well, my table was the best because of XYZ. But I mean, my table had River as the fucking prophet, and that was amazing. Yeah. In terms of dynamics, I think for us, just as players at the table, we came into session 0 ready to, all of us, it seemed ready to go, okay, who here is ready to say yes and just roll? And it just went from there. I think, yeah, it's hard to talk about the Saint because Taya's internet sucked. But at the same time, I think it kind of laid the groundwork for some of the later stuff because in the back of my mind was I want to talk to the Saint about like all of this going on. You've got Taya talking, like sitting in the back when she is there, grappling with confronting her faith, her character confronting their faith, and confronting these hard parts of their faith and who they are. And the pagan being like, why the fuck am I here? I don't believe in this. This isn't my world. Like, I don't belong here. How can you damn someone for the act of non-compliance to something that has no moral upstanding? Like, just because I don't believe in your God, why is that saying that I'm wrong? And so the fact that we didn't have that conversation, I think it's a good thing we didn't. I don't think it was ready to happen. I think it needed to simmer longer. Plus, when Taya was there, the Saint and the Prophet were just like getting as close to fucking as they could.
That was some Bridgerton bullshit, is what that was. That was some almost hand holding.
Hand holding, us talking about having them ride along the coast of the river Styx, on their steeds, the Snorse and the Panther. I think the keystone character in that canto, despite the fact that the pagan was in their level, I think the keystone character of Canto 2 was Blackwell's serpent. The motif of having the hand reaching out and having that be the through line throughout the entire canto was beautiful. And I think it also allowed for my character, because there was a moment where the serpent and the pagan split their hope or share their hope to try and get something done. I can't remember exactly what we did, but it was like I gave 2 to save the serpent while the serpent gave 1 or something like that. I don't remember. And so I thought that like Blackwell was such a great person to build this trusting foundation with. So I felt like, at least in my canto, the pagan and the serpent were very much siblings in a, not in a contentious way, but in a like, I look up to you, like the pagan looking up to the serpent being like, I wish I had as much like chutzpah as you do to just kind of go, here's my hope, I'm gonna give it away to save everything, and also hold out a hand to hold other people up. And the pagan's like, I'm too angry to even do that. How? And then River is just so infuriatingly good with certain things. Like I think that the way that my pagan worked with the with I keep on going the warlock. It's not the warlock.
Prophet.
Yeah, with the prophet of I just, there was almost the prophet became the focus of my anger sometimes because there was so much proselytizing going from them and talking about all the stuff. And I'm like, all right, well, fucking do it. Like, if you're gonna have my back, you have my back. Like, you're gonna tell me right now that you've got this. And then for him to question the pagan and being able to go, do you fucking have my back or not? Like, how dare you? Um, I think that it just allowed for a lot of really good. Oh my God, Jen. No, I can't even.
That
Oh
one's
my God.
staying. That one's just for us. You guys don't get to know
That's
that
just
one.
for us.
Yeah,
You
no,
don't
I
get to
don't
That's
know
think
that
just
I
one.
don't think the
for us.
audience gets to know this one.
We
No.
don't know.
But-
Sorry, guys. Get in the Discord
just think-
and maybe hear it.
Listen, if you know me at all, if you spent more than 5 minutes with me, you can figure it
You
out.
know what it was.
Oh yeah. But I just think that our Canto, like the way that we all fit in was being very serious on screen when we had those chances, but then also just being like snorse, snorse, snorse in the background. Having those moments of where the fact that River and I both got to just make 90s references to a million different things just made it entertaining as well. Yeah, I think it just, the dynamic between the characters was something I've never experienced. So it's really hard to put into words beyond
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah, it was very cool. And I remember a really good scene where, yeah, in the labyrinth, where the prophet was hemming and hawing about, like, because Riv didn't want to ever cause damage. Because
Yeah.
Riv's thing with the prophet was like, I'm not going to do harm, but in like a toxic way. Like they were like, I'm going to have the prophet's going to try to baptize somebody in in that level of hell and see what happens. Like I was like, go ahead, River, try. Let's see what happens. It didn't happen, but like, so there was a lot of hesitancy in a situation where the pagan was like, bitch, kill or be killed. Like, I don't know what you're doing here. Like, and that was such a good, like, altercation between you two that I loved from your Canto.
Yeah, that one, I think it was a moment where I really felt like I was like, there were moments where I didn't feel like I was fully in the character for different reasons, but that was a moment where I felt like I was fully rooted in the character, especially since we'd had that conversation before River's prophet and I and the pagan, we'd had that conversation of when push comes to shove, will you do what needs to be done? Because the prophet's because the prophet's wavering in the hypothetical, and the pagan is trying to tell them, you've got to say, like, I've got this, you can't be ambivalent, you can't stand neutral when something terrible is about to happen, or you can't stand neutral when we're in danger. That was the pagan's concern, was just, if the serpent can hold a hand out and say, come help me, or let me help you, you got to be able to come and help them back when it's time.
Yeah.
So I loved that moment in the ways. That was a great moment where, yeah, Riv, I think it really caught them by surprise when I snapped at them. Because they really kind of were like, oh shit.
Yeah, exactly. And then where it started, Mikey.
Yeah, honestly, looking throughout this entire path of everyone else, it's the vibes ebb and flow. It's so weird, but amazing to see. Um, First, let me say it was like you guys said, amazing table. That just feels like how it's been the whole way through for everyone. Um, Gabby, Jesus, Mags,
Gabby.
Daniel.
Gabby was a great fan. Sorry.
Yeah, was a great fan. Sorry, my brain just went somewhere else for a second there.
Like part of the family.
Yeah.
Oh, you had Mags too?
Mags,
Yeah.
Mags also showed up in
Yeah.
Canto 4 as a pitch hitter for Anna when Anna had to miss something. So we had Canto 1 reappear. So yes,
Yeah.
Mags as the saint.
Yeah, Mags as a saint, Daniel as the serpent, and Julia as the prophet. Oh my god. It was fantastic. Work I will say this, the pagan and the saint did not interact nearly as much in the first canto. Simply because, well, other than the fact that the prophet and the saint were like at each other's throats for most of it, um, it was just the feeling of, why would I want to? I'm only interacting with you because we're all stuck here. With that idea of, I'm not going to just leave someone that I don't know who may be innocent to die. And that thought, which was the same reason why I ended up staying and waiting for the serpent by the pool. Which playing off Daniel was fantastic. There were so many moments where it was just kind of, I don't know, how do I describe this?
It's also been a year and a half, guys, since
Yeah.
Mikey has played this character. Wild.
What, you don't remember every single detail? God.
But oddly, at the same time, it feels like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
It was a lot more of a like feeling like a budding romance almost between the serpent and the pagan, with a lot of like light flirtation, and it was just very fun to play off of him. And with Julia as the prophet, and this is probably, and you could ask Eli because they've played with me in so many different home games. This is probably the sassiest I've ever gotten with a character, and kind of just clapping back at the instance of Julia's portrayal of the prophet being high and mighty with the "I don't know you" kind of vibe. It was a good start, which led to what felt more like a kind of like older sibling, younger sibling relationship between the two through that canto, with the underlying feeling and tone of like, don't get too close because you do not know these people.
My favorite Mikey line, which, yes, this was the sassiest I've ever played with Mikey. He always plays the sweet boys. The prophet said something, or was trying to like get in with the pagan, and Mikey said, "Oh, so now I matter." And I was like, "That's the pagan. That's our boy." So it was such a good clapback. It was so good.
I think my favorite line throughout it was right before walking through the portal into the next canto. Fine, I'll play your game.
Yeah. It's so cool, and I'm so, like I said, this so far my pagans are the only ones that have been, every canto has been free to talk all at the same time, and this is why I love it, because you guys get to see the through line like I get to see it, because there is a through line, like there's an ebb and flow in all this, but like all of these relationships are being knit together in a way, and it all started with Mikey where the pagan and the serpent had a thing, and now it's been proven through memories that there is a connection. Like they have a, we don't know what connection it is. Listen, Danny and Andie are saying they love each other, which I challenge anybody to not be a little bit in love with Danny Mendoza. Dude is wonderful. And Andie.
You know, we weren't subtle about it, like, whatsoever.
No. It's
Those
just
two were so
Dandy.
fucking close.
It's Dandy. I'm calling y'all Dandy on Rocket Club from now on. Anyway, it's Dandy. But yeah, it's so cool, and something that I find really interesting. So, as my players know, and as the audience will find out, memories are not. I'm not revealing things that I know already. When good RP happens, I say I'll be like, roll me a wisdom check, and sometimes they will tell me what memory they have, and sometimes fully based off of the RP, I go, and now this is a fact about your characters. So it's there. We don't know the connection yet between the serpent and not the serpent, the pagan and the prophet. It hasn't been found yet. So who knows? Catch it in the second. Well, actually, challenge to Jien, I guess. They've still got 2 sessions to start something.
Challenge accepted.
I mean, but you got so much going on with Grant. I don't know. But it's just such a wonderful. I say this with every Canto. I will say it on camera again. I am so fucking lucky that I had all of you guys as my pagans, because you have made this character that could be so boring. I'm going to be honest, like a good guy in hell, like the wrong people could have made this character bland and like holier than thou and like a tree hugger. And you guys have made this incredibly interesting person. And I love it.
Nobody
so
said
much.
anything about a good guy in hell. Just somebody who doesn't belong here.
Yeah, listen, you don't a decent person in hell.
Nobody said anything about a decent guy. They said somebody
I am.
doesn't belong here.
I am. If you were a bad guy, you'd have a level. But yeah, you guys have made something. You are one half of a group of people making a full person, and I think that's something really beautiful about this character. So thank you for joining me on this journey, and thank you for being so good with the community of each other. To like, it's so fun that we now have a channel of 10 people that are all the pagan, and you all can talk, and like, you guys are the only ones that have this experience, and everyone is so lovely and supportive, and new people come in, like Andie being like, I'm scared shitless, and everyone else is like, Andie, chill, you're gonna be amazing. Like, it's such
Andie out here like they don't craft the most heartbreaking, perfect narratives every single fucking time.
I know, what the fuck? My friend, you made me cry. Like, again, I had to balance beautiful mourning grief with Baby Shark. So, Danny,
So much Wonderwall.
so much Wonderwall. There was so much Wonderwall. Yeah, so this is amazing. Like, I can't wait to see what happens in the back half, but like this first 5 Cantos, this first year and a half has been what a wild journey. So thank you guys so much for doing it with me. And I'm a professional, and I'm not going to acknowledge the chat.
It's my mistake that I keep looking.
Don't look.
Yeah, I don't know why you keep looking. Like,
You know,
I love this
see
because
Mikey's comment, and I'm like, yeah.
This is what I do, and this is what I did throughout the entirety of Canto 3, where I would play this graven, serious character and say the most heinous shit in the chat and watch them break and just...
Yeah,
I do that too.
I like seeing it happen here.
I
fully, I am
I
carrying on
narc.
the pagan legacy.
I fully narc on everybody. It's so funny.
As you
As
should. You
we-
deserve to.
Yeah.
I love it. Before we wrap up and say talk about what all of you amazing people are doing, I want to hear everybody's wish for this person you're building. Canto 10, they get out of hell. What is your one wish for this person? Mikey. We'll go the other way around again. Mikey, Canto 1. What's your wish for the pagan?
That this stressed out little bean finally gets the rest it deserves.
Amazing. Lex.
I thought about saying that I hope that they find something peaceful, but I don't think they would find that entertaining. So I hope they find just the right type of chaos uh, and thrive in it.
I love it. Zach.
Great question. Closure on their identity.
Beautiful. Andie.
And I want this to end with the pagan and the saint murdering each other.
Murder-suicide pact.
Like,
Sundown duel style.
Is that death by cop?
is it?
Come back to our Saint Talkback to learn more. Jen?
I guess that's me. I mean, I'm kind of with Andie a little bit, but I would also like just kind of like some closure on what happened between the pagan and the saint when they were alive as well. Whether that's peaceful or murderous, that's up to the next ones.
Yeah, fully. Amazing. All right. Well, thank you, my friends, for joining me. Before we say our goodbyes, I want everyone to shout out what they're doing. We'll popcorn it around, but I'm going to start with Zach. Zach, tell me what you got going on.
Oh Lord, when does this air? May. First of all, hi. You can find me on all the internet, Sneakernet or Sneakernet Music. Usually on Thursdays, I'm in another homebrew D&D campaign called Luck and Chaos on the Hype Goblin. We, at the moment, are in a small hiatus. We pre-record stuff and catch up, so hopefully we're back at it by the time you get back there. I'm currently, by the time this ends, I should be towards the tail end of a mini-series I'm running on Rediscovery RPG called The Electric State, which is the game system of The Electric State. It's a lot of fun. I'm also in a Vampire the Masquerade game on Fridays there called Dallas by Night, where after 5 years of Vampire on stream playing every clan once, I finally get to play whatever the hell I want to play. So I decided to be a gangrel. And I'm going to be part of a game in like June called it's called The Valley. It's going to be over on like Hilarity Save RPG. They're doing a multi-part thing of it, and I'm in the last part of it. And finally, throughout April, we did a mini series of the Alien RPG on Vancouver by Night. Little Red Dot ran it. It's called Alien Chromatin. That should all be up on YouTube by now. And the full soundtrack that I composed for all 4 episodes should be up on streaming platforms. You can find that and any other music I do under the name of Sneakernet. Thanks for having me back.
Check out The Valley. Well, you'll see a lot of Inferno people. There's quite a few. I get very talented people on my show, so there's a lot of us. Zach, pass it on to somebody else.
I'm passing it over to Andie.
Hi, my name's Andie and pronouns are they, any. You can find me on Instagram or Threads under eb_Andie, or everywhere else as Andie Sinead because I'm bad at consolidating my usernames. Hilariously, I am also in the Valley. I'm in the first one, which by this point would have also happened already. So go watch it back if you haven't. I'm sure you can find it somewhere. I don't know where it is. It hasn't happened yet. Other than that, I'm doing Rocket Club with Streaming Rainbow. I don't know if I think we're done by the time this comes out. Yes? No?
It will be the finale. No. You'll be at episode 4 is coming out the following week. So yeah. So
Okay.
you got 2 more sessions left of Radical Resonance. So yes, catch
Yes, there will
Andie
be
on.
two more sessions of Radical Resonance. Other than that, I'm always on Magnificence, which is a long-running D&D game for the Tabletop Tailspinners Network. I play a really angry person with nature magic, which, so I've got range. It's, but yeah, that's what I'll be doing, and I will popcorn it to Jen.
What up, everyone? Hi, I'm Jen. I can be found on the internet at JenVerb, and for now anyway, briefly. I've suddenly forgotten my own name, my age, everything I do. I do performance, production, overlay design, project management. I wear a lot of hats in the TTRPG space. If you need help with something, you can probably ask me. If I don't know how to do it, I will probably learn how to do it for you. Just ask Grant. I learn a lot on the job. I spend a lot of time over at Game Master Monday, in case you couldn't tell. Go check us out. We do a lot of charity streaming, and I think there's a podcast or something, I don't fucking know. But yeah, that's me. And I think Lex hasn't gone yet, right?
I have not. My name is Lex. I'm online at Lex Get Pizza basically everywhere. Currently deeply between projects, living in the real world for a hot minute, but I am happy to jump in on basically anything. I am not married to any platform or any world. I do spend a fair amount of time with Game Master Monday. But I like just going around playing games with cool people. That's kind of my vibe. So yeah, I don't have anything coming up right now, but I do have some stuff coming up. It got pushed, so maybe next year in 2027 with Tabletop Tailspinner Network. Yeah, we've got a secret project that we're finishing up. But that'll be next year, and I'll let Eli know when that's coming out so that they can add it to their promo list. I'm gonna send it over to the send it over to Mikey.
Hey gang, I'm Mikey, he, him. When I'm not lighting designing for theater, which takes up a good bit of my life, I am trying to start back up playing games on Twitch via the user Cowabunga_Mikey. That's also where you can find me on most places on the internet. In my free time, I tend to be doing TTRPGs. You could see some of my stuff I've worked with Streaming Rainbow a couple of times. And if you want to find a podcast that I've done of with most of the DMs of Streaming Rainbow, ran by Sarah, wonderful work. Check out Lantern Cove on Spotify and anywhere else you can find podcasts.
You want sad teenagers? Check out Lantern Cove. It's eldritch horror in high school. Anyway,
So
now for me, it's high school. It's not it's aged up, so it's a little sexier. Somebody made me question a lot of things in that game. Anyway, hi guys, it's Eli, they them pronouns. When I'm not your greatest guide in hell, I'm doing other things with Streaming Rainbow, and we've got a lot happening. So thank you very much for joining us. First off, get in the Discord because there's a bunch of really rad people, and we all chat and talk about really nerdy shit, and we have a great time. It's a very low-key, chill place where everyone is just kind of nice to be around, which I've heard is rare on the internet. For what you can expect from us, next Tuesday, the Tuesday that's about to happen, is going to be the Talkback for Firmament Academy, which again is run by Sarah. It is very much a Magical Girl Utena kind of vibe. It's been a student council, but it's a good one. So it's not like the trope. Student council usually bad. This good. You can see Blackwell in it. You can see Danny Mendoza. 2 serpents for the price of 1. You got it. It's all there. It's wonderful. And they're going to be talking about their experience on Tuesday. We're going to have some more educational videos from Bastion and Danny and myself. So we're trying to spread out what we do with our channel. So if there are things that you want to discover and talk about on an educational level, comment below, because we love to make this shit and we'd love to make something that helps you guys out. Then we have another episode of Radical Resonance on Friday where you can see Andie be an emotional middle schooler who likes rockets. It's great. Literally, as we filmed this, the first episode just went live and somebody yelled, "Hey, pedophile, stop it." Great. That's what you can expect from Radical Resonance. That's the level. Then you can catch more Rocket Club in all the places. Danny is doing literally 4 separate games at the same time on 4 different channels because the man is insane. He's awful in the best way possible. And then starting at the end of the month, Canto 6, the back half begins. Jien, not the joke, Jien. And then we got Pride, which you know what that means. Guns in hell. It's happening. So no, this year for Pride, we are giving back to another trans supporting charity. So please give what you can. We're going to have a really rad, our first is going to be a guest GM'd by Mags. Our first ever Saint is running a game of ball game. I don't know. It's going to be on all femme cast doing a league of their own. So there's going to be some kind of baseball themed game system. There's about 8 of them to choose from. So we got that.
You don't hit a bird with a baseball bat. Should do that one.
Yeah.
Eli.
Yeah.
You said Pride, and I thought that was the next circle of hell, and I completely just forgot that Pride was a thing for a second.
Oh no!
I'm a terrible bisexual.
Pride.
Forget your own month.
This month is for you too, Zach. It's for you too.
Only half of it.
We won't be in Pride, but we will be in Pride. Last year Lex was given bear spray in the form of a gun, given by a prophet, given by Rosie, a prophet, to the pagan. And Lex said, "I don't get the joke," and then I had to explain a joke from their game.
A game that I ran a year before. I could not remember to save my life, but yeah, just
bear spray.
Bear spray.
Let's give Oracle more guns. Hell yeah.
God, I hate
anyway,
that fucking thing.
Why do you hate me, pagan? I am baby.
The
Visceral reaction to that literal demon spawn.
I'm a little baby. Anyway, it's so wonderful. Like I said, we've got a ton of shit going on. All these very talented people have a ton of shit going on. Get in our Discord to follow all of it because we promo all of it. And thank you again to my players very much. I missed you. We have to find a way to play a game together again. And in the meantime, we'll see you next Tuesday. We'll see you in hell. We'll see you in the Discord. So goodbye. We love you very much.
We're gonna play an Oops All Pagans game.
Oops All Pagans.